Welcome to the Starting Over Podcast. I'm your host, Edward Shelton, aka Dark Logos, and this is the show where we look at the strategies, tactics, and mechanics behind the game of heroclix. We're in the part 2 of the set review. Just real quick, if you are listening to this right now under the sound of my voice, I want you to go listen to part 1 if you haven't already listened to part 1. And if you have listened to part 1 and you have not listened to my most recent episode, episode 280, when you're done listening to this, go listen to episode 280. Have a good time. Have a great time. 3 hours of heroclix talking. Get you through this busy work week after a holiday and barbecue. Still feeling the barbecue. I'm living a Dave Chappelle skit right now. It's like, come on, buddy. I knew you came in here. You want the chicken. That's what my mom told me. All right. Get a sip of my water. I can get roasted on that. So let's go into rares. Now, we've had so much goodness. Normally in an hour, I'm able to get through commons through rares, and then we're cranking in on the second part through the super rares and chases. But this time around, we're actually just starting the rares in part 2, which is sort of funny. So let's go ahead and start this. So we have rescue, which I am not a fan of paying 70 points for this chick. Running shot, in cap, 2 targets, 12 attack. She flies, she's in dom, she keeps the pressure up. She's like, pew pew, cage you. Okay, she has running shot. When rescue uses it after resolution, you may knock back each hit character 3 squares. So you get your knockback damage that way once per game. When rescue hits one or more opposing characters, you may roll a d6. If you do, after resolutions, deal each hit character damage equal to that result. So she has a once per game super I'm going to finish you type attack, which no, not for 70 points. So this is bad. And she's like a lobster wrapped in a force field. Defend and vulnerability, energy shield deflection. Adjacent friendly character's name Enigma can use energy shield deflection. Now, here's what I'm going to tell you. If she was 60 points or 50 points, I would have been saying, this is good stuff. But at 70 points, she just is too expensive, with her range value being 5. So I have to say pass. Even though she gives an 18 defend and flight, I don't see an immediate use for her right now. All right, we're going to keep going. We're going to skip over Dr. Minerva. I know from my perspective, Dr. Minerva does not offer a lot. But still, I think she helps Kree. So I'll leave it at that. I think she is really good with Kree. Yeah, I'll just leave it at that. All right, so let's keep on going down. Now, I also think she might be really baller in Sealed as well, because she could pick stealth and shape change and other stuff like that. All right, so let's keep going. Yep, here we go. We got another Elektra. Guess what? It's bad. It's bad. It has a way of sort of sacrificing its other Elektras on the sideboard. I don't think it's worth it. Now, here's a cool thought And maybe this is something that someone smarter than me or is just that much more annoying than me could figure out, is take her, put a bunch of shifting focus Electras on the sideboard, and then just be like, look, you gotta go through all of these. You just have, you're not gonna KO her until you go through all of these. So are we going to do this? Okay, we're going to do this. All right, just letting you know, because there is, yeah, yeah. I just see someone just being a dork and playing this. All right, going on to Koye. Yay. Wakanda Forever trait. Summon the War Rhinos. So we got another pulse generator for Wakanda. Power, generate a War Rhino bystander, max 2, in your starting area. Now this is the problem. It's in your starting area. Double power action. Generate 2 War Rhino bystanders in your starting area. So you can just normally at the beginning summon a War Rhino, or a double power action and summon 2. I would recommend double power actioning and summoning 2 at the beginning, because there's no reason for you to equip her with jack squat. It should be Wakabi summoning War Rhinos, but hey, again, this is Black Panther the movie, the set. That's really what this is. So defend your king. Toughness, unique modifier, adjacent friendly characters with the Wakanda keyword modify, defense +1. So, this isn't bad. Again, what have I been saying? If you're going to make supporty people, make them cheap. She's up here defending T'Challa. All right, great. She's up here attacking with T'Challa. Great. That's 100% fine. If we're depending on that Wakanda scientist to be our muscle, so be it. Okay? But good gosh, please, like, just do something to have the point cost make sense. Because again, like, I'm getting near the end of her dial, and I got charge, steal energy, and defend at 18, and it goes up to a defend and a 19 defend. Why isn't this at the freaking beginning of my dial? Why isn't this at the beginning of my dial? If she was 65 points and you said 19 defend only for Wakandans, boom, I would have been like, play this chick. Play her now. Wakanda Forever. You would have seen me freaking Xing like I was freaking Exhibit or Chris Jericho. Okay? Like, come on. Come on, Whiz Kids. Y'all were doing so hot. Why'd you mess up a Koye like this? But man, these War Rhinos, dude. Passenger 1, but only to carry characters with Wakanda. I don't know if these are autonomous. Because if these are autonomous, these are the only things saving Wakanda. These are the only things saving Wakanda. Because you double power action on your first turn, and you're able to send out 2 of your major attacking Wakandans out to the forefront, carrying them 9 to 10 squares, depending on your setup. That's great. All right. I think that puts you in a very good aggressive position. Definitely on Earth X Wakanda. You have every incentive the following turn to just push and kill them. Now, again, I do not know if they are autonomous. If they are autonomous, Okoye, mandatory. X gonna give it to you, like, straight up, Okoye. If they're not, she's still okay with the rhinos. But, buddy, like, not the best taste that in my mouth I'm feeling right now. So, yeah. All right, AIM Blue Squad. This dude is dumb. This dude is dumb. Leadership. If AIM Blue Squad is part of a name theme team, Friendly characters with the aim keyword consider other friendly characters within 3 squares in line of fire to be adjacent while using enhancement, empower, leadership, or support. That is all those little supporty dudes. So one blue dude can rule over a white and red and make them exponentially better. Okay. Now note, it's just saying like in a name theme team. So you have AIM, you have Avengers, you have Hydra, politicians, scientists. It's so good. It's so good. Now I know some of you might be saying, Dark Logos, you play all 3 of them, that's like 100 points of your build. And I would 90 points of your build, I think. Maybe 90 points. And I would say, so what? I have everything. I literally have everything I need for 90 points. So yeah, so you might see these more in higher point games, but AIM Blue, I think if you do not want to run Old Man Cap or can't get Old Man Cap, I think he's a good replacement. I think he's an adequate replacement for Old Man Cap. So, yeah. So Enigma sucks, so I'm just skipping over her. Falcon. This is an okay Falcon. He's got the champion's keyword and animal keyword. And he's hypersonic speed and 3 damage. Anyway, so the whole thing that he gets the Red Wing bystander, I'm fine with that. Anyway, he has a stop click at 60 points. And I would argue that he is going to be really useful for animal theme teams because you combine him with Throg and all of a sudden the homie is hitting for good numbers. Okay. He has a mental link to Sam in Red Wing. Free, choose a friendly character named Captain America, Falcon, or Red Wing, and a standard power that that character can use. Falcon can use the chosen power until your next turn. Now, here's the cool thing. Now, if you have 2 of these guys, if one gets knocked to, let's just say, Flurry, and the other one is on charge, you could charge and Flurry with the one with charge. Or if the one's on Flurry sees the other one with hypersonic speed, and hypersonic speed is what you need, he could go and, use hypersonic speed. So I think this has potential. I think that when we start looking at constructive, we start looking at now we have a Falcon that also has, he's with Old Man Cap. Now he too can use Outwit. He too can use Perplex. But without having that Avengers theme keyword, he's really limited in what he could do. So I would rather drop the stop click and have something in a power that just says, hey, I'm with Cap, or remembering my legacy. Like if he's with any of those other characters, he gets to gain one keyword that the Cap, the Falcon, or Red Wing share. So I think that would have been great. The Red Wing bystander is okay. I think it's okay. And yeah, let's keep going. Then you got Prime Falcon. Whoa, buddy, Prime Falcon. My friend Red Wing. At the beginning of the game, generate a Red Wing bystander. Red Wing has autonomous. That right there is a hand clap. That right there is a hand clap. All right. Then you have Captain America and the Falcon. Energy shield deflection. If a friendly character named Captain America is on the map, Falcon has autonomous. I don't. Oh. I saw this, right? The first thing went through my mind was, wow. This is too good. This is by far one of the best Falcons we've ever had. And then he has I've learned from the best close combat as close. So he just functionally uses it with his charge. Oh gosh. It's just too good. It's it's just too good. I know like I sound like a broken record. I know I really do. Um, but if you look at charge, it says can't be knocked back. Power half speed move, then big close at no cost. So functionally, Falcon is either a 10-5, 11-4, or a 12-3. I Doc Ock arms on this on the homie. Oh, oh, gosh. I mean, you couldn't use a close combat expert, but still, I mean, even if you said like, oh look, we gave him exospecs, so now he has still energy, or now when he ends his movement, now he has stealth. Like there are so many things that makes this guy great. Um, it's uh it's so good. It's so good. Uh, the action economy, like when I was talking about, like, let's look at new ways of building Avengers. I think this is one prime way of looking. Okay, bad joke. I think this is a major way of looking at the beginning of rebuilding Avengers and making Avengers creative, making Avengers just not about sending somebody across the map to murder the team with one attack. I think there is a lot of cool things that you can do with this Prime Falcon. Um, this is at least $40 value right here, people. $40 value minimum. Anyway, again, you got Red Wing and you got just those two anonymous characters just jacking all your objects. I'm jacking your objects. I'm jacking your objects and not feeling bad about it. All right. Next up is Black Bolt. Now I'm bringing up Black Bolt for a couple of reasons. One, I think his damage values being disappointing are on purpose. I think he has potential. I think there is a lot for us to look at and digest with him. So let's sort of start on it. So he has Bearer of the Reality in Space Gems. Black Bolt starts the game with either the Reality Gem or the Space Gem. Now, just to let you know, again, if we scroll all the way down here, the Reality Gem is giving us +1 range, perplex, and TK. And then the Space Gem is modifying our speed by +1, giving us Passenger 2. And when this character hits an attack roll of 10 or higher after resolutions, you may place a hit character up to 8 squares away from their current square. This, in all reality, could be used, no puns intended, as great spatial manipulation that could be really broken. Okay, so going back to Black Bolt. Why is he good? Now, first off, with the ability to perplex yourself, you're already starting off real good. So his attack power is like silence is my reality. It will not be yours. Penetrating psychic blast. When Black Bolt uses it with the reality gem, so he can have the perplex and the TK. You may instead target any number of opposing characters within range and line of fire. If you do, instead of normal damage, each hit character is dealt his printed damage value. So they make sure you couldn't go too overboard on it. But realistically, he could just grenade himself out there. And with the perplex, he can perplex up his range by one. And that's like no thing. And also, I think he doesn't even have to worry about getting the extra target. Yeah, he doesn't even have to worry about getting the extra target. So that right there is a good reason to think about playing him at his 145 or technically his 150 point dial. When you start looking at his lower dial at the 95 or 100 points that you pay for the gym, he gets the space between worlds. He has sidestep when Black Bolt uses it. With the space gem equipped after resolutions, you may move all characters within range 1 square. Now, this is very strong. This is probably one of the strongest game effects that we've seen attached to a figure. The last character that's used this similar game effect, what was her? Enchantress from the Mighty Thor. And the reason I'm saying this is really powerful is because folks will look at Black Bolt and they'll be like, but the homie can't running shot. And he's 100 points. And he has pulse wave, but I'll just sling him out there and he'll pulse wave and then he'll die. And it's like, okay, yes, I get that. But the fact is, he just says, yeah, you're moving. You don't get Mastermind because you're moving. Challenger, you were within 6 squares of your little pylon things. Now you're not. Oh, you're 1 square away from open air. Now you're in open air. Take 1. You were in formation for defend. Not anymore. If you're in stealth, nope, not anymore. You're not in stealth anymore, buddy. You're out in the open. I see you. So there is a lot of unassumed control that this figure can do. And I think in Sealed, he'll be really underestimated. I think no one's really going to gravitate to him in Constructed. And so, functionally, he's DOA, which is really sad. So unless Lockjaw is popping fresh and people are loving him, I don't think people are going to be looking at Black Bolt, which is really sad. All right, then we got Captain America. He's Steve Rogers, Captain America, which reminds me a little bit of the more classic, I think it was the running shot, 12 attack, 3 damage one from the Captain America set. I think he's very similar. But anyway, he has Bearer of the Time Gem, so yep, he's got the prob. But anyway, he has Sentinel Liberty free, choose combat reflexes or energy shield deflection. Captain America can use the chosen power until your next turn, so hot diggity darn. Then he has first through the door, last to leave, charge, running shot, and sidestep. So he's ready to do everything. Is he worth 100 points? No, I'm not feeling it. The ideal that inspires throughout time. Leadership, when Captain America uses it with the time gem equipped and succeeds after resolutions, he may remove an action token from a friendly character. Just period. So anywhere on the map. This, again, I think this cap is okay. I do not think that this cap is the definitive cap or the cap that's we're going to be using a lot in the future. I really think Captain America Resilient is probably going to be that Captain America. All right, next up is Namor. Realistically, Namor is okay. He is the... Let me rephrase that. Namor is good. He is good with the power gem. He is every charge flurry Namor that we've seen throughout the history of clicks. And I don't have a problem with that. And I think that he has the potential to wreck a lot of teams that are not ready for him. And that's really the best thing I can say on it. Um, I don't think you're ever going to see him with the power gem equipped. Okay, I really don't. Because yeah, I just don't see it happening. I don't see him ever being equipped with a power gem. I do see him having some value at 75 points, but not with the power gem. I know that sounds sort of weird. So yeah, Namor is okay. Next up is Spider-Man. Now I played against the Spider-Man, and he's rather tough to deal with in sealed. In constructed, I don't know if anyone's going to play him because I think that he doesn't quite pan out. So the three Waldos, at the beginning of your turn, you may choose one: Flurry and Giant Reach 2, or Combat Reflexes and Stealth. Um, or improved targeting, shoots out of adjacency in 3 targets. Spider-Man can use the chosen effects until you choose again. So that in and of itself has allowed me to say, man, that's pretty strong. He has traded super senses and protected outwit for his super senses, and he has a movement power saying what he's going to do. What's he going to do? Fly, leap, climb. When Spider-Man uses it after resolution, he may be given a close at no cost, which allows him to flurry. I messed up and I didn't take outwit that from my opponent. He almost won the game because of that. So overall, the Spider-Man is pretty respectable. I don't see most people playing him, sadly. He has a lot of the stuff needed to win games. I just don't think he has everything baked in so that he can get over most teams. And I just think he's going to get pulse waved to death, sadly. So, yeah. So, lo and behold, we have Enchantress. I played against her. She's okay. She has potential. But I would not. I don't see her showing up in constructed, if hardly. So I'm gonna skip over Titania. Okay, so here's Astronomer, and I had a friend of mine recommend Astronomer, and I'm not quite sure on it. But he gets to start with an Infinity Gem, so yay. And then he's the I Sense a Greater Challenge. He has improved targeting, ignores elevated, and ignores hindering. So he's freaking Nick Fury, son. Without the taking away stuff. He starts with Prob, which really is not that bad. Then he has 11 range again. Just 11 range is stupid. Positioning of all cosmic matter, power, telekinesis at no cost up to 2 times. When he uses it to place a friendly character with the power cosmic ability, team ability, or cosmic keyword after resolutions, modify the character's defense by +1 until your next turn. Astronomer cannot target the same character more than once this action. So functionally, Astronomer is like, yeah, you get moved 6. And there you go. There you go. And it's funny because he's very good for allowing for a situation with Eitri for a triple equip. If you have leadership, it's completely possible in one turn. Astronomer TK's character 1, then TK's character 2. Character 1 equips, character 2 equips the character that has the object underneath themselves equips. All done in one turn. So yeah, I think that this he has some potential. I again believe that most people will not see his potential, and he's going to be a sideline character. That's just the honest truth. Like he's going to fade to the back, but I do want you all to like look at him and say like, yeah, this potentially could be really good. He has improved targeting, ignores hindering, ignores elevated. He has decent starting stats. Like building this cat up to be either a TK cannon, where he's just TKing objects at fools, or building him up to be a mini Nick Fury, just taking shots at people. I think that there's a lot of value to be had with this character. I just think I think that people just need to sort of step out the box a little bit. Then you have Gartner. He doesn't start with much, but he does have the Watch My Garden Grow. At the beginning of your turn, you may generate a hindering terrain marker in a square within range. He has 6 squares. He has a 6 range. So that marker is just there, and it doesn't go away. So it's like the old Remaker ring, except you really can't pick barrier. You're just picking smoke cloud. But it's permanent hindering. And then my plants have a calming effect, or the opposite if I desire. Smoke cloud, free, make a close attack targeting an opposing character, occupying a hindering terrain marker generated by Gartner, regardless of adjacency. If you hit, choose that a hit character either can use or can't use Battle Fury until your next turn. So you get to do damage to people and then say, yo, man, you got Battle Fury. Or, oh, whoopsie, you don't have Battle Fury. Which could have some very interesting effects if your opponent is doing any sort of pilot swapping. So I'm just saying, like, that actually is pretty decent. Again, it's another one of those characters that people will sleep on because he's not directly manipulative. But I think, starting him off with the Soul Gem just makes him dumb, because for 50 points, I have a smoke clouding character that I can punch through and then heal up through. Like, that's really good. That's really, really good. So, yeah. Let's keep going. Here's Trader. It's another one of those, hey, he's cheap, and I think he has potential. Let's make a trade. Free, choose an equipped character, friendly or opposing within 3 squares in line of fire. If Trader is equipped and both equipments have, equipments have equip any, those equipments are now equipped to the other character. And so all I have to say is people thought that when I came back and was talking about EarthX, that I said, like, here's this object in EarthX, and it's going to change a ton of stuff. And everybody was like, no, that Alistair Smythe object isn't going to do anything, Edward. You suck. And what was it? Is it Mini Slayer? Mini Slayer. I said, look, man, Mini Slayer is great. And then folks are like, nah, Edward, you suck. No one's going to ever use Mini Slayer. And it's equip any. Joke's on you. Joke's on you. Because now Trader comes up and he looks at a character and it's like, oh, hey, I see you. Will you trade Mini Slayer with me? Oh, okay, great. You will. All right, great. Here, you take Mini Slayer. Just take that and breathe in. And then all of a sudden, Let's see. Character opposing character equipment. It can't be given actions to equip and modify speed by -2. Yep. So yeah, you get all the negative stuff from Mini Slayer. Because at no point in time did it say that once it's equipped, it's technically friendly to you, because it's not. So yeah, it's that's the thing. So again, will people even think about this character? No, sadly, no. Is he great for potentially like having the space gem so he could carry two people around? Yeah, like yeah, he could be really good for that. Will anybody ever use him for that? No, no, they won't. No one's ever going to use this figure. Why? Because he's not overtly broke. And getting him to do his trick, even though it's a free trick, most people will not invest the time to do that. And in this case, hey, you can go up there and choose not to start with a standard object or start with a gem at all. And like I said, you just equip Mini Slayer. And there you go. You pay 45 points. And you're able to just screw over so many people. And you make this character a high priority target. So yeah, I think he's great. I just think it's sad that most people will not think about this character whatsoever. And I can't blame WizKids for that. I really can't. All right, let's keep on. Let's keep on moving. Corvus Glaive, realistically, not that good. I've tried looking at him and figuring different things out with him. He's really not that good. All right, so now we're in Super Rare Land. We finally got here. This is our third Iron Man of the set because reasons. I want to like it, but I can't. He's really not good enough for me in constructed at that point value with everything that we have out there right now. Because once you start getting his point range, you have to ask yourself, if Cosmic Panther is already in a bad situation and Unimind is sort of in a mixed bag situation, why am I paying for Iron Man? And you really don't have a good reason. Okay? And that's my problem. You don't have a good reason. Alright, next up is Doctor Strange. He's Avengers and Mystics team ability, which is pretty cool. He has a okay attack value up top. He got the running shot Psychic Blast. He has the Bearer of the Soul Gem, which is nice because he can sort of heal himself up. He's a little high if you use a Soul Gem to be at 120 points. I don't think he's worth 120 points. I think he's realistically worth 100 points, but He has Defend and Energy Shield Deflection. He also has We Must Work Together, Perplex. When Doctor Strange uses it to target another friendly character, you may choose a standard damage power that character can use. Doctor Strange can use that power until your next turn. So, you see, hey, I used the Perplex on my buddy. He has Outwit. Now Doctor Strange has Outwit. Oh, I use Ranged Combat Expert on my buddy. Now Doctor Strange has Ranged Combat Expert. I think that's the best you're going to end up with that. Maybe Prob, but realistically, I don't see him getting a lot out of the power cloning and doubling up on powers for his point cost. And I want to make that clear, for his point cost. Now, in bigger games, I think he's going to be great because there's going to be a multitude of various different things that your team can sort of play off of a little bit more consistently. So yeah, I like that. He also has a attack power, which is precision strike. When Doctor Strange has the soul gem equipped and heals from steel energy after resolutions, you may heal all adjacent friendly characters one click. That part is where his money comes in. Like, this is when he starts making the bank for the team. Because he starts healing up friendly characters. Yeah, there's problems to be had for your opponent. So, is he worth 115 points? I really don't feel that he is, but is he an okay piece? Yes. Then you got Baron Mordo. And then you have add to Doctor Strange's, my collection. When an equipped character attacks Baron Mordo and the attack misses him, after resolutions, either equip that equipment to Baron Mordo or KO it. Give this man some super senses. That's all he really needs. Is he needs something that will give him super senses. And that guy will be golden. But until we get an object that grants super senses, I really can't recommend this figure for competitive. Yeah. Subtle spell casting once per turn when opposing character within range uses probability control. After their reroll, you may choose to reroll that roll. That's free prob. That's pretty good. Free prob on top of your prob. Then you have sleep as one who is dead. Precision strike, close range, half damage. Make a close range attack. Hit characters are given an action token. Okay. It's okay. You do two. You're pretty much knocking your damage down to 2. More than likely just doing 1. And you can still multi-target. So that's not bad. So you're functionally doing 1 damage and then capping people. So yeah, it's like almost like stunning blow, almost as good as a stunning blow. So yeah. All right. This is sort of ridiculous. You have Loki, and I want Loki to be good. And I realistically do not see him being good. He has a lot of cool stuff, but he can't take a hit. And I know for some of you, they would say like, oh, you play the pick a power Infinity Gauntlet, and then you pick Impervious or Invincible. Edward, he's great then. Top dial Impervious, Super Senses, Shape Change. Yeah, I know. But I don't think that's a good call because you're not immune to outwit. And that's my problem. He needed to be protected outwit. Above all else. So yeah, I know he has mystics, but there's a way of getting around that. So I can't big up completely Loki. Captain Britain, I have to pass on him. Kang is fun. I think Kang is fun. I think there's a lot of cool stuff that you could do with Kang with his point value that just makes him interesting. Am I pro Kang? Not really right now. If I could see, again, I think he's in that realm of potentially he could be part of that Avengers 2.0, where all of a sudden, instead of Hawkeye, we have Kang. And definitely when I say that is Kang Wars, minus X. X is any number up to the number of unoccupied time portals markers on the map. Free, place Kang the Conqueror in any unoccupied square with a time portal marker, then give him closer range action. After resolution, remove that marker. Kang the Conqueror may be given this free action up to X times. So functionally, he works like Hawkeye. He works just like Hawkeye. The problem is you need to build up to that moment. And if you can build up to that moment and your team is still intact, and then he's just like McCree, and he's like, it's high noon. He's killing people. So yeah, Kang the Conqueror is definitely worth it as a title. Rune, no, just passing this dude. Just don't. Just don't waste your time. Let's see. The Hood. I've heard mixed bags, mixed reports on the Hood. I've heard that he can be a little bit good if you do what he's about right, or he just sucks. So I'm of the point where I'm not going to comment on the Hood right now. And yeah, I'm just not going to comment on the Hood right now because uh, he has too many. He has too many advantages. He has too many different things that make the Hood actually interesting. And definitely with his Infinity Quest, uh, his what is it? Power when the Hood moves once per turn after resolutions, he may make an attack. If he has, I guess, the power gem. So yeah. So I anyway. Um. Yeah, and if he's equipped with the Infinity Gauntlet, he can use all of these effects. Uh, like I said, I don't know. I think his price is really high, so I can't really vouch for that. Lockjaw, he's 40 points of broke. He just is. Passenger 4 can carry flyers. Like, yeah, he's going to be the future of your hyper taxis. So just buy him now. Yeah, just go ahead and buy him now. Incapacitate at the end of your turn. If Lockjaw wasn't moved or placed this turn, he can use Incapacitate at no cost. Yeah, that's just so good. The instinctive jump. Oh, you almost about to kill me. Oh no, we're about to get everybody the hell out of here. We're gone. Ghost. Yeah. So. I gotta say I'm pro Lockjaw. Maximus. He's trash. He's trash. Taskmaster. He is 50 kinds of wonderful. Oh gosh. Choose two, and people have already previewed it, but just off the top, Charge Flurry, Charge Blades, Running Shot Side Blast, Running Shot Precision Strike, Combat Reflexes ESD, making him up front a 20. Oh, Range Combat Expert Precision Strike. Oh, that's so good. That's so good. So, I think this is the micro Super Scroll. He does not count against theme teams. That makes him so good. So I am pro Taskmaster. I'm so pro Taskmaster. Challenger, I believe that he has potential. I do not know with what combination of figures, characters, even if you go theme with him. And my main reason for saying that is I've play tested with him. He is very durable, but you're limited on your aggression. And one good TK and you're done. And I play test with very good players. And so when they're constantly able to easily exploit elements, that's when I know, like, okay, this has a problem. This has a major problem that I need to look at. And so I think that given some setup Given some time, he could emerge in constructed. I don't think he will emerge in constructed quite yet. I think that he needs a couple of more game elements that at least I'm able to choose to make him immobile without dealing him damage. If I can choose in a turn to make him immobile without doing damage to him, I think that you might have the beginning of something. So I would leave it at that. Yeah. Champion at 95 points. He's gonna. If you see him in sealed, he's just going to be a powerhouse. Like he's one of the best characters that you can get in sealed. Collector. This guy will make the rounds on the meta. Like this guy will make the rounds. The question comes in is how big of a splash will the collector make before he gets nerfed? Because and if he doesn't get nerfed, I would make the argument is this is WizKids trying to balance out and presenting risk for special objects. Like that would be my argument. Okay. All right, next up is Grandmaster, which he too, again, it's like he could have been something, but he's not going to be. Wagering on a contest of champions, you say. I think that's the reference of the game, the mobile game. Sidestep, once per turn, when an opposing character with a range, once per turn when a opposing character within range and line of fire attacks. Before the attack roll, you may guess whether or not the attack roll will hit at least one target. If you do, that attack roll can't be re-rolled. If you choose correctly, after resolutions, deal the attacking character 1 penetrating damage and heal Grandmaster 1 click. If you're wrong, heal the attacking character 1 click and deal Grandmaster 1 unavoidable damage. This right here could be great. Definitely when you know, oh, it's a 12 on an 18. He needs a 5. I wager you're going to hit. Okay, so now the guy hits, he's going to take 1 penetrating. This could have been really, really great, but it's not because overall his point costs are too high. Like, this guy, he should be somewhere in like that 45 point range. Make him one of those characters because I'm really playing him for the wager. I'm not really playing him for much else. Like, strip down, knock him down 2 clicks, keep him with the regen on the last click, okay? Keep the prob, knock his damage down to a 1, keep the defensive values the same. That's all you really have to do. That's all you really have to do. And this guy is great. And he's a lot cheaper. Hell, I think more people would actually consider playing him. But the way he's designed, no one's going to play him. Because once he comes in at 90 points, like, are you going to really want to utilize the mind control? Like, realistically. And the answer is not really. If I'm utilizing the mind control, why do I need to have 3 damage? So this is again one of those, like, please think through how folks play this. And I think that this is a problem. This is a problem. Runner, I finally have a runner that I believe is about right. So yeah, runner, I like him. I think he's good. So I'm gonna just go ahead and skip on down. Ebony Maw. I played Ebony Maw. This guy is beast and sealed. Maybe not in constructed. I don't see most people ever playing him in constructed. His TK power is ridiculous. Perfect telekinesis. Telekinesis, when Ebony Maw uses it to make an object attack, modify his attack by +2 and increase his damage by +1. Then he has your powers are inconsequential compared to mine. Outwit Perplex. When Ebony Maw uses either to target an opposing character once per turn after resolutions, you and that opponent each roll a d6. If your result is higher, Ebony Maw targets that same character with that same power an additional time this turn. I was a fool in sealed and I only used it to outwit, and I was able to like strip some people down. If I was thinking about that with the perplex, I would have perplexed down people's defense twice and just wrecked them as I hit them with a 13 attack, TK attack. It is stupid what you could do with him. A lot of people don't think about him doing poison to them with the traded poison and the mind control. Like this guy here, Ebony Maw makes Grandmaster look like an idiot. Look like an idiot. And there's a 10-point difference once you add in the gem. So I would rather have Ebony Maw all day over Grandmaster. Alright, so let's go to the chases. So first up, there's Red Skull. And I think Red Skull comes with one of the Cosmic Cubes. And again, I think one of my friends said it best. Like, if Red Skull was probably in almost any other set, he might be a lot more well-liked. But the fact that he's in this set, he's just sort of a chump. He's a mediocre. And because he's mediocre, there's not a lot that really comes in and says like, oh yeah, I can salvage him like this or like that or with this other reason. The Infinity Gauntlet, sorry, not the Infinity Gauntlet, the Power Cube could have been great on him. But I just don't like it. I don't really like either of the power. Well, actually, the one that comes with Kubrick is actually pretty good. But anyway, he has this man dash thing shall humble you. Free, generate an artificial being bystander, max 1 in a square adjacent to an opposing character that attack Red Skull since your last turn. Heat of Hades, poison, but instead the damage dealt to each opposing character is equal to the number of action tokens plus 1. Red Skull, the matchless master of mankind. Leadership Perplex. When Red Skull uses leadership and succeeds, he may remove an action token from an opposing character anywhere on the map. If he does, this turn Red Skull has mind control as free, but only to target that opposing character, regardless of line of fire. All of that is not bad. All of that is not bad. It's just I do not see him getting over in constructed. When you're looking at 200 points of your build as this guy, and Green Arrow says goodnight, and he just about almost one-shots you. You go from, top dial all the way down, and you're just looking at yourself with 11 attack and 2 damage, and you're like, what happened? So I realistically, he's too many points for what he does, and there's too many things that are introduced in the set that just knock him down more than a peg, and it's just not worth it. So I can't endorse this character. Kobik, this chick is bomb. Kobik is the complete opposite. And you know how I was sort of talking with the red, white, and blue AIM agents for almost 100 points. You have all your support. Like, I look at the same thing with Kobik. For 115 points, you have Perplex Prob, in shape change. Okay, you have power. Once per game, choose an adjacent character on their starting line and a character on your starting line with the same name as the chosen character. If the first chosen character is equal or more points than the second, replace the first chosen character with the second on their starting line. That character can't have the same set symbol and collector number. Okay? Oh, hey, I see that, my worst matchup is Spider Man from, let's just say, superior foes. Oh, handstand Spidey is so much of my bane. Oh, let me go get Fat Spider Man and have him on the sideline. Because here's the thing: it just says a character. There's not even a friendly character. Like you can start swapping out if you know, like something is just your bane. You can start swapping out opposing characters, and you also can hard swap friendly characters too, without having to think about shifting focus and other things like that. So yeah, I think that's something to think about. Rewrite affiliations free. Choose both a friendly character and opposing character with printed team abilities. These characters can use the team abilities printed on the other character instead of their own printed team abilities until your next turn. Hey, there's so many shenanigans there. You don't have power cosmic anymore. Period. So I have perplex, I have prob, I have shape change. I can rotate you out. I can possibly incapacitate you. I can four square blink myself wherever the hell that I want to go. All for 115 points. And oh yeah, I can summon in 100-point IDs. And I'm 19 defense starting. Okay, so I gotta say Kobik is at least a $60 chase with the object minimum for all that she does. Like it's just too much. Next up is Iron Man, and he starts with he can start the game with any one of the Infinity Gauntlets equipped, and again, it's not worth it. Like he'll end up with the pick a power one, and it's not worth it. There's just too much. The dial is too short. He doesn't do enough. At 135 points, or which would be 150 points, you're better off with the super rare Iron Man. He has the other trait, says wish the gems and gauntlet out of existence. When Iron Man would be KO, you may KO and equip ABPI gauntlet to turn him to click 6 instead. Protected pulse wave. So you do that right, and he's on plasticity in cap, 18 defense, invuln, outwit. Big whoop. Big whoop. Like, I don't think it's worth it. I just don't think it's worth it. He's just too bad. So, you just sell this one. This one's going to be a $20 chase. Okay. Captain America, I've had some people say that he's great. I had some other people say he's not. The super knockback is sort of cool. I think he's all right. I'll just say that. I think he's all right. I don't see myself building an Avengers team around him. If you can find a good way of building a soldier team around him, then great. Then there's Black Panther. Woo! Woo! Wakanda. This is the Wakandan. I needed more Wakandans like this. WizKids. I need more Wakandans like this. Now there's some problems. There's some unforeseen quote unquote problems, but we're going to get into it. First and foremost, Precision Strike and Battle Fury sounds wonderful until you realize you have to get that character around the field. And with the 8 movement, he's not getting that far. Okay? And I've seen in playtesting is while he is great as a character and attacking, if your opponent is staying primarily in the backfield, he is probably one of the worst attackers that you can have. Because you have to pack a TK with him. And if you do not pack a TK with him, you don't have another way of getting him downfield outside of a vehicle. So I really am... as much as I see him as a anti-evasion character, he is still hard to navigate. The improved movement ignores elevated in hindering is great. He has stealth, and he's like, screw you if I'm in printed hindering terrain. You can't draw a line of fire to me. Protected pulse wave. You know, like, that's just the greatest. Like, that's the best, better than Batman stealth ever. Okay? He has Blaze Claw's Fangs. Opposing characters within 3 squares can't use Blaze Claw's Fangs, which is great. Ancient Incarnation, Black Panther. Whenever a friendly character named Black Panther hits, after resolutions, remove an action token from this character. Overall, one of the best Black Panthers that we've ever gotten in this game. Again, at the same time, he is also one of the toughest Black Panthers to build a team around. Star Brand, he's crap. That's all you need to know. So yeah, that just sums that up right there. Ultra Chase, Thanos. You've probably listened to enough commentary to have already made up your mind about this Thanos. And I'm just going to say this. WizKids jacked up. I make jokes all the time. And I laugh. And I say, you know, and I'll go on rampages. But if you can sort of have this moment where I'm never ever a character on this show. Sometimes I'll blow things up just a little bit for showmanship, but I'm going to step out of that and break this down why this is a bad figure for the game. You're introducing a character that has a lot of silver bullets and a lot of kit at a high rarity, and you're asking us to believe that Ultra Chases aren't meta. I'm sorry. It's like the old Google, like vision statement. Don't be evil. You know, after you deplatform so many people, I'm sorry, you really can't abide by that old adage. Same here. And I'm going to go step by step of why this is bad. So, first off, you have Artifact from the Interdimensional Cosmic Vampire. Thanos may start the game with the ABPI Ego Gem. So you create an object specifically for him, at the same rarity as him. So unless you get this figure, you cannot get this gem. Okay? And Thanos doesn't even pay for it. He just gets it. Every other character in this set has to pay for their gem. And you just say, screw the rules, I have money. Okay, I'm Seto Kaiba. Alright, so that's problem number one. Let's take a brief moment and look at the Ego Gem, mind you. Alright. So, the Ego Gem says, equip any, unequipped drop. Effect. This character can be equipped with any number of ABPI Infinity Gems with different names. Free. Choose a combat value to modify +1 until your next turn. Point value 10. Okay. So if you look at the other gems, they pretty much modify one stat or the other or whatever, which is fine. Okay. I still think they're a little undercosted, but that's fine. So you come in and you say, look, not only do I give you one ring to rule them all, you get to get the other rings. So it's not like freaking Sauron just had the best ring. He had to go steal the ring from the elves, the humans, and the dwarves. He had to steal all their rings and said, look, man, not only do I have the one ring to rule them all, but I have the freaking ability to summon all the other rings. I've heard people say, but hey, Dark Logos, there's no way for him ever to get all the Infinity Gems on him in a game. And the answer to that is maybe, and depend on how stupid your opponent is. So I say the maybe for one distinct reason. I've already talked to you about in between this video and the last video of high mobility characters that are able to move 12 squares or more. And lots of them are rather cheap, but like Voyager in particular is 50 points. She's stupid cheap. Okay? She has the ability to just pick up Thanos, say yippee-ki-yay, and get him downfield and place him on top of your gems, your opponent's gems, have him freaking hungry hippos those gems, and then once he's picked those up, he can go back to his gems. You also have Eitri. Eitri can just look and he'd be like, look, man, there's those gems out there. You got to pick which gem that Thanos starts with. I'm either going to get the soul gem or the prob gem. You better not give me the soul gem, because you give me the soul gem, I will wreck your day. I will wreck your day. And you better not have a soul gem on the field, because if you do it, I go first. I'm going to do everything in my power to take that soul gem from you and put it on Thanos. So every time you hit me, you take mystics, and every time I heal you, I will heal one. So unless you're packing the pulse to the wave, or somehow ignore mystics, or lucky enough to have invincible your entire dial, guess what, homie? You're taking that mystics. So automatically you have opened up a huge design flaw, because you did not look at how your character interacted with all the other gems. You didn't look at how the standard characters interact with him to beat him, and how much attrition that they would unrealistically have to go through to beat him. Next up is Screet. Screet is as Screet does, and Screet is hard to swat. Free, once per game, generate a Screet bystander. What does Screet do? Well, let's see. Screet is a 4-range psychic blast, 19 defense, tiny. So from range, WizKids, you're saying she's a 20D. She's autonomous, plus she phases, so she can go wherever Screet pleases. Okay, then she has Chaos Might, Perplex, but only to target other characters. When Screet uses it, she modifies a value by +2 or -2 instead. Then rolls a d6. 1 through 2, the modifier becomes 0 instead. So you try to balance her out, and you give a 1 in 3 chance of failure of a super perplex on top of my super Thanos, who already has a perplex. So what you're telling me is, not only should this character get a modifier from the ego ring, get a perplex himself, but also have a mega perplexing fairy to perplex him some more. That's dumb. And if that ended there, I would still be justified to say that this is a dumb figure. But we haven't even gotten fully through everything. Next up, genocide is not what Mistress Death desires, but it's what the Maker's followers deserve. Precision strike. Free. Make an attack targeting an opposing character, but only if there's another opposing character with the same name on the map. When Thanos KOs a character, after resolutions, KO all bystanders generated by that character. Then heal him 1 click for each bystander KO'd this way. This is one of the parts that I don't like, because it allows me to come in and say, I understand that this character in particular ruins my day. And if that character is a popular character, it has multiple iterations, so then I am able to trigger this power. And if I trigger this power, I get to free make an attack targeting an opposing character, but only if there's another opposing character. Sorry, never mind. I take that back. Only if there's another opposing character with the same name. So it helps you deal with duplicates. So he can forget what I said about the cross ability thing. I misread the thing. Simply put, if I build a Pog spam army, you're going to say, "Hey, look, I can't build a Pog spam army." If you're saying you don't like how giant girls are, uh, then fine. And now I can, boom, I get to KO a giant girl, and yeah, and then because I get a free attack on a giant girl, yay. So I got in a position, I KO'd the first giant girl, and I get a free attack on the other giant girl, or vice versa. A free attack first, then kill the other giant girl. If you had a problem with spam, start looking at freaking game design. Realistically, WizKids, start looking at your design values. If you feel like you had to introduce a character like this, so let's recap thus far. Okay, we have the One Ring that rules them all. We get the magical Super Perplex Pixie. We get Mystics, and we get Power Cosmic. That's a lot. All right, so let's go to the last thing. And I also get number 5. I get to come in and make free attacks on duplicates. Okay, great. The biological application of cosmic power. Now, he only has 4 clicks of this, but it makes the 160 point Thanos worth it. Perplex, but only to target other characters. When Thanos uses it to target a friendly character, that character can use Power Cosmic team ability until your next turn. When Thanos uses it to target an opposing character, that character can't use Willpower or Protected Outwit, or Protected, Big Protected Outwit, or Protected Outwit, Little Protected Outwit until your next turn. So, I think this is written down wrong. I think the official wording is something like, when Thanos uses a target of... Oh, no, never mind. Never mind. I take that back. It's a friendly character. They get Power Cosmic. Okay, and I can easily say Thanos Jakeem 2019, last hurrah, everything that freaking Jakeem needed right there. I could just say that. Thanos Jakeem 2019 Nats champ, the one duo to rule them all. F yo couch. Okay, I could just say that. Because now you've just functionally gotten rid of the one weakness of Jakeem. But okay, before I rage. Let me come back. Come back, Edward. Come back. You're taking away Power Cosmic. And you're granting Power Cosmic. And you can say quit too. You're taking away all of that as well. So when all said and done, no matter what, like if I forget the Jakeem Thanos bromance, if I'm able to get multiple gems, I'm guaranteed to be +2 in some stats. At minimum, in most cases, +1 defense in most cases. I'm able to make it so that I have a Super Perplex from my autonomous bystander Pog, who doesn't count against my actions. And she can completely nerf my opponent or completely buff me if I have a 2 out of 3 chance of that happening. I'm able to functionally have, if I can get the Steel Energy Gem, be almost nigh impossible to kill to some teams. And I just gotta say, this is just bad design. You didn't give us enough in the base set to make us feel like we had a chance of fighting it. And I'm not one of those guys that's like, yeah, sky's falling. This is impossible to deal with. He's broke. He's OP. There's no better figure than him. Blah, 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 all that. I'm not that guy. But when I scroll through all the cool stuff, and there's a lot of cool stuff in this set, and I just sit there and I say, well, crap. What happens when I have to fight this mess? And I don't say you sort of cry inside, but you really ask yourself, is WizKids paying attention to what they're making? Do they understand the gravity of the characters that they're making? Is this one of those situations where you have people that say, oh yeah, whatever, I don't care what playtesting said, push that through? And I think that's a problem. Because if I go all the way back, and it took time, and I said, if I go all the way back to number 33 Possessor, and I look at his Possessor of all cosmic knowledge, Outwit, Free, choose a target opposing character within range and line of fire. Until your next turn, that character can't use protected Outwit, and its powers and abilities lose protected Outwit. I paid 95 points for him. I paid 90 freaking 5 points for him. And realistically, he's worth that. But then you make an Ultra Chase that just sort of just craps on that. Completely craps on that. And I think that's a major flaw. I think that's a huge flaw of design. If you want to say, like, look, let's try to deal with the Unimind problem. Let's try to deal with future Power Cosmic and Quint characters. We can make them strong because, we have these series of characters that get around that. Then fine, but don't put that many answers to that many problems in one freaking character. You just don't do that. And this is the point where, the casual people will say, oh, look, I can't compete because I can't afford Thanos. You've just made a new excuse for people to not come into competitive. Like, if I could have somebody, hell, Norm or somebody, just talk to game design, talk to freaking Zoran and say, you know what, we done effed up here. Let's not do this again. Let's not put any silver bullets inside of an Ultra Chase. Let's just make it a cool thing that people like to have for collector's value. You could have, of all the things you could have done, you could have made a super rare Thanos that was sort of cool. And then you could have given us like a little, mini ego, like the one from the Guardians of the Galaxy movie. And he's just sort of like a 50, 60 point Silver Surfery like guy. And he's like 14 movement, passenger 1, and he's like 10 attack or 12 attack and 1 damage and support. And he's 50 points. And he just runs around the freaking universe looking for something to hump. You could have done any number of characters in the Ultra Chase and not made them impactful to the game, but very cool to have, and you would have done your job. But the fact that you made a character with so many solutions, that's the disgusting part. That's really the disgusting part. Because it doesn't stop him from using any other future equipment Because like we got to be honest about this. There is nothing, literally nothing, stopping him from using any other relics or resources or special objects. Nothing. You could have at least done that if you at least locked him down to using the ego gem and the stuff in the infinity gauntlets and the infinity gems. That would have been fine. I could somewhat justify like half of this, or even 3/4 of this. But the amount of BS that's stacked is like an industrial farm in China type smelly level. It's just horrible. So let's wrap this up. Look at these objects. All right. First up is the reality gem. And TK and Perplex for 10 points, one extra target. I think that this is probably one of the best things for teams out there. It's beautiful. It allows you to get TK on your team for 10 points. I know there is like some concern about saying like, hey, like in most cases I need, TK on turn 1. Well, let's just say you don't and you're primarily looking at TK as a deployment option. Then yeah, I like this. I like this a lot. He comes with Black Bolt. Then there's the Time Gem. Modify range by +1. So I'm a fan of this. Gives you probability control. When this character hits, if the attack roll was 10 or higher, opposing characters can't use the effects to re-roll attacks this turn. So pretty much you just lock your opponents out of prob. So this is pretty nice. So I think that this is probably be another one of those abusable objects that later on characters are going to regret that they didn't have. I mean, players are going to regret they didn't have. Next up is the Power Gem. Power Gem is you get to modify your damage by +1. So that's really good. Oh, real quick thing on the on the Time Gem. So if your base range is 6, and you get to modify your range up to by +1 to 7, you get to prob from that range. So that's the cool thing about the Prop Gem, is that allows you to, if you have a range of 6 or more, you get to increase your range for probability control. All right, Power Gem. Modify damage by +1. You get Close Combat Expert, Range Combat Expert. When this character hits, if the attack roll was 10 or higher, after resolutions, deal the hit target 1 penetrating damage. So I like this because you're able to get around stop clicks. You're like, bam, knocks you to stop. Oh, I rolled a 10. Oh, crap. Popped your Unimind. What's up, son? So, yeah. I like this. Next up is Space Gem. Modify speed by +1. Phasing teleport. Passenger 2. When this character hits, if the attack roll is 10 or higher, after resolutions, you may place a hit character up to 8 squares away from their current square. So there's a lot of literally space shenanigans with this. Giving a +1 speed to a lot of characters, and then also giving them Passenger 2 is really nice. I actually like this a lot. I think that the future of taxis is bright with this with this gem. Soul Gem. Again, modify defense by +1. Yeah, this is. I hate to see this with the Ego Gem. Just having a +flat 2 because you have the Ego Gem and the Soul Gem is just sort of sickening. Steal energy, but with close or ranged attacks when this character hits. If the attack roll was 10 or higher, after resolutions, heal 1 click. Not bad. I think that's pretty cool. Still energy on range or close is just beautiful. Mind Gem, modify attack by +1, and I actually am glad that this is on the Mind Gem and not the Power Gem. Mind Control plus Incapacitate. When this character hits, if the attack roll was 10 or higher after resolutions, they can use Mind Control at no cost. So you can repeat if you roll a 10 or higher. So the thing that I also like about this with the Mind Gem, and I think a lot of people are going to underestimate with certain characters, is that once you hit, let's just say you mind control and you hit a 10 or higher, then you get to use the mind control again. If you roll again and get a 10 or higher, you get to mind control again. And I think the fact that you're just perpetually, if you are lucky enough to get mind control, could keep mind controlling and wrecking your opponent really bad. And I think that's a very, very abusable thing that will be underestimated by most people in the game. I don't think the Mind Gem will be popular starting off. I think the Mind Gem will be popular once we get characters with high attack value, low damage value, high ranges, and multiple targets start using it and giving the Skull a run for his money. All right. I'm still sort of pissed about the Ultra Chase, but anyway. Cosmic Cube. Let's go to it. Effect: free an opposing character's speed, attack, and defense or damage. In you something. Then choose a standard power that isn't the chosen type. Until your next turn, as long as the Cosmic Cube is equipped, modify the combat values of the type by your opponent by +1, and this character can use the chosen power you chose. At the end of your turn, roll a d6. This character doesn't have Cosmic keyword on 1 through 2. Unequip the Cosmic Cube. This is bad. This is trash. I understand that you're able to your opponent picking a value, and then you get to use a standard power from that area, from your opponent's figures. I don't think it's worth it. There's too many things that just can screw you. Because if your opponent's just like, hey, guess what? All I have is phasing. Yeah, go use that. I think there's some problems there. Anyway, and I think this would have to be on dial. I would have to see a ruling probably, because I would assume it would have to be on dial. But if not, then it could expand you. It might be a little bit better than I'm thinking, but for 30 points, that is just too little for 30 points. The second Cosmic Cube is hot fire. Free, choose one. Place this character up to 3 squares away. I was wrong when I said 4. From his current square or until your next turn. Improve targeting ignores. Elevate it in hindering and modify range by +2. Or give an action token to adjacent opposing character if you can't deal them 1 penetrating damage. Overall, this is really good stuff. Infinity Gauntlet. Free. Choose a standard power. Roll a d6, 5 through 6. You may choose an additional standard power, 1 through 2. Deal this character 1 unavoidable damage. This character can use the chosen power or powers until your next turn. Again, not having Power Cosmic or Protected Outwit on this is really what set this gauntlet back. Then the second Infinity Gauntlet gives you 6 Infinity tokens, Power Cosmic, Team Ability, and free. Choose standard powers from the list, and up to that number of Infinity tokens. Mind Control, Pulse Wave, Close Combat Expert, Range Combat Expert, Opposing Prob, and Poison. Until your next turn, this character has protected from all the chosen powers. After resolutions, roll a d6, 2 through 4. Remove an Infinity token, 1. Remove an Infinity token and deal this character 1 unavoidable damage. So again, the Power Cosmic is great, but at the other end, dwindling down your gems sort of sucks. But I would just say, if you need somebody with Power Cosmic, this is a great look. But again, if you're going back to, hey, we're starting to jack around with Power Cosmic, then the value of it just drops, and you can already hear this in my voice, being soured on it already. The Ego Gem. We've already talked about it. Yeah, so it's just 5 levels of dumb and shouldn't have existed. So yeah, uh, that's the set. There's no fast forces listed, and I might talk about the fast forces. I'll talk about the fast forces in another video. I'm already at an hour and a half, so yeah. What's my thoughts on my of this set? I think this set is great. I think that for most of us, we will have a lot of fun with this set. I think that there is a lot for us to consider, and I would even go so far to say that we can all sit back and, out of most boosters, pull something that is useful for our collections in the long term. Do I think that all the decisions made in this set was a good idea? No. I think the objects weren't handled properly in the marketing. I don't think the objects, period, were handled in this set well at all. Having a Ultra Chase object and then saying, "Oh, but hey, guess what? It's not meta," and it being very stupid meta level. That's a problem. To just have a flat, yo guys, I spent 10 points to spend +1 stats wherever I like, is pretty much in contact with the Oracle without requiring a second character. And then you go ahead and get another gem. And then it's like, hey guys, here's the perfect gem that also makes me broke. That also increases one of my stats. So I can +2 that stat, or +1 this stat, and +1 that other stat. So I I really do not like that. I think the first Cosmic Cube is horrible. I think the Infinity Gauntlet that allows you to pick powers is horrible. I would not want to pull those. But other than that, I think that. Oh, also Wakanda. You didn't think about what you were doing with Wakanda, WizKids. You watched the movie and you were like, let's just. You watched the movie and you read like part of the new series, like I think it's like Wakanda Under Our Feet or something like that, A Nation Under Our Feet. You read that, you got some, feels, and then you decide to put them in this set and make that a thing. And I get you. I fully get you. I understand why you did it. But you did not design Wakanda to be played in the game of heroclix. You designed Wakanda to imitate a movie in which you had an army run at each other and collide in the middle of the map. There is no way that I'm going to be able to fight the X-Men or Unimind or any other number of characters. Hell, they couldn't even fight the Teen Titans the way you have them designed in this set. And I'm not saying it's all bad, but what I am saying is that you pretty much designed Wakanda to just go out there and die for Wakanda and not really provide them a way of fighting back effectively. And that's a darn shame. That's really a darn shame. If you had gotten that Wakanda storm, like out and ahead of the pack, the head of the pack, then I think there would have been a little bit more hesitation for me to say like this. A lot of it is trash. But when I look at it within the set, it just doesn't do much. It doesn't. It does not help. So, like, even something simple like Dora Milaje, Dora Milaje should have been designed to defend Black Panther, like, from the jump, and designed to actually be useful for him from the beginning, and they're not. And you didn't give us a Black Panther that's like, yeah, build around this. like rally your Wakandan army around this. You gave us the guys like, oh, he could start with the gauntlet or gems, and it's like, but he's sort of crappy. Like, if you put him at a higher rarity and sort of, just spit polished him a little bit more and kept him around the same point cost, I think you would have had something. I give you an A for effort, C for execution. So, that's it for today's show. That's it for the series. For the set, not for the series, for the set. I guess in the end, I like the set. I really do like the set. I just really hate that Ultra Chase, and it sucked all of the hype and all of the energy that I had, and it just flushed it. Just flushed it. So, you can follow me on Twitter at StartOverPod. It came from outer space and told me in planet Majoto, the mosquitoes there have learned how to suck up lakes and rivers. And when they die, there's an explosion of rain. Yep. Don't want to be on that planet. Don't want to be on that planet. So, you can email, you can follow me on Twitters because, like I said, YouTube does not like YouTubers. You can hit subscribe and like and all the other jazz, but guess what? YouTube will not let you know when I put out a new video. You can email me at startingoverpodcast@gmail.com. It's startingoverpodcast@gmail.com. If you wish to opine, keep it piffy, keep it interesting, keep it awesome, baby. Let me know what you think of the set. Do you agree with my assessments? Do you disagree? You could donate to the show at startingoverpodcast.blogspot.com. On there's a donate button. Everything you donate goes to making the show better. And if you want to support the show, you also can buy a Starting Over Podcast t-shirt listed below. All right. That's it. Brother's tired. I've been at this for 3 hours. I'm pissed off. I'm tired. I was hyped. Now I'm pissed off. And it's if you ever, like, it's like an ultimate downer. It's an ultimate downer. So, thanks for listening. Thank you for being patient through this 3-hour ride. I know you probably had to pause yourself, go have a freaking restroom break. You got to say it to yourself, Dark Logos, the audacity. He has a show longer than freaking Endgame. How dare he? And I'm like, shoot, maybe freaking Marvel needs to hire me to do a movie. You know. All right, that's it. I'd like to thank you all for listening. And remember,